Hello and welcome to BIFA TV. We have a slightly different episode for you today, but it is probably the most important episode we have ever done. I want to bring you up to date with where we are with the new STCs. Before we do that, I would like to share some thanks to those who have helped us to get to this point. First of all, to those on our legal and insurance policy group. This group is made up of associate insurance members, legal people, and some of our own members who have an interest in this area, who've helped us to move it from where it was to the point we are at today. I think particular thanks need to go to Pawel, Robert, and Bruce, our lawyer, who has done the due diligence to move it from where it was to where it needs to be now. What we now have is an up-to-date modern set of STCs which are fair and equitable for everyone. What I would ask of you is that you take a few moments to watch through this episode, understand its implications and implement it into your business. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us in this special episode of BIFA TV. My name is Pawel Jarza. I'm joined here by my colleague Robert Windsor, and today we're going to talk about BIFA STCs, BIFA's Standard Trading Conditions, edition 2025. Robert, let's just cut straight to the chase. Why are they so important?
It's very simple. They've been around since 1988, so they're well established. In certain ways they're regarded as the rules of the game. They've been tested in court, and insurers find them useful because they define the liabilities, so they know exactly what they've got to insure. I mean, fundamentally, there's 3 points. Firstly, they define the trading relationship between the BIFA member and their customer, so that's important. And it defines the relationship between them. It covers a wide range of business activities and really is the cornerstone of the relationship between the member and their customer. And I think there's a slightly wider thing, if you like. The terms taken as a whole, what they do is they focus the mind and they encourage people to keep freight moving, to behave in a professional manner to ensure compliance and a positive outcome for the movement, and also they control costs.
So Robert, BIFA STC's 2025 edition, why did we feel that we needed to review the...
Right, well, they were first introduced in 1988. And we always review 5 to 10 years. Sometimes we actually need to change them, sometimes we don't. Basically, since 2021, the world has changed, probably more fundamentally than I can remember. And you've got a variety of issues. First of all, you've got the geopolitical. 2 examples I would give of that are the closing of the Red Sea to commercial shipping due to the activities of the Houthis, and the Ukraine war, which has disrupted trade flows through the Black Sea and down the Danube. Then we've had trade tensions. You had the UK leave the EU. We've had a trade dispute between China and America. And the last point was solicitor believe that the wording needed updating to reflect modern business and commercial management.
So Robert, following up on that, what was the outcome of the review?
The review produced probably the biggest evolutionary changes to the standard trading conditions since they were first introduced in 1988. What we have seen is the role of the customs agent more clearly defined and broadened to reflect the law, and that's detailed in Clause 7 of the Standard Trading Conditions. The customer definition has been changed to include both paid for and gratuitous work, where somebody might give advice or guidance as part of an overall forwarding package. We've seen, to keep people's focus on moving cargo, timeframes reduced. As you know, we've had the example of a member who had 23 containers stuck in Vietnam, and the key rent and demurrage bill is $750,000 US. We've seen changes to some of the financial terms and how funds can be allocated where payments received, and it's not clear. We have seen in Clause 18 a more clear definition of a customer's responsibilities as defined in law. Claims procedures have been slightly changed. The basic limits of liability have remained the same, but for instance, now if a member is negligent, it is clear that the limits apply, but the negligence is covered as well. And we've seen changes to the time bar rule contracts simply because of a case that was pending in the courts. Biggest single change perhaps is that jurisdiction is now English courts only. There used to be 3 sets, but our members in Northern Ireland and Scotland can vary this where they and their client are in agreement.
BIFA STCs are law about operations. That's why you're about to hear from someone who uses them in the daily operations. John Stubbings from Woodland Group. John, thank you for coming here.
Hello, Pawel. Thank you for inviting me.
John, you are a trading freight forwarder, a practitioner, and we understand you use BIFA STCs in your daily operations. Would you tell us about how you use them and whether there's any specific clauses that you would like to mention, especially when it comes to this revision of BIFA STCs edition 2025?
Yes, for sure, Pawel. I joined the industry in 1978, and there's probably not a week goes by where I'm not using the STCs in some manner. A couple of good examples maybe where it's a benefit to the trading member. Clause 26 has been amended to clarify the liability caps that apply however they should arise, including negligence. And then Clause 25 specifically excludes consequential loss for delays. And these are examples where our clients knock on the door on a regular basis trying to obtain some compensation for us for circumstances outside of our control. Another good example would be Clause 7, which has been quite extensively rewritten, which covers the customs representation, and it now follows more legal text. It confirms the circumstances under which we as a BIFA member can act as a direct or an indirect customs representative agent, and allows us the contractual right to appoint a sub-agent. And it cross-references also to Clause 18, which covers the customer's legal obligations relative to HM Revenue and Customs. And then a third example would be our ability to recover charges under lien and the right to dispose of goods. Not really varied too much other than the lien clause has been amended to include goods and documents held outside the UK as well. That's important as obviously we're moving goods internationally, and the notice periods that are required to be given by the BIFA trading member have been reduced, which is more in line now with the speed that things move in this current world. We're no longer using snail mail to provide notices, it's email, instant communications. So we're trying to be more reflective of today's world, basically.
Thank you, John. And these are very much a reflection of the communications we receive here in the Secretariat. questions relative to liabilities, to customs matters, to representation, and obviously the lien clauses, they all reflect the changing nature of our business and our trade today. It's all changing very, very fast. It's all moving very, very fast. That's what we expect.
Yep.
But at the same time, we need to have tools, legal or contractual tools, to address any potential fallout from things that may potentially go wrong. And that's what we use STCs for, I think.
Yeah, no, certainly. And I'm pleased that you say they are representative, because in reviewing the 2000, or in carrying out the review in 2025 for this new edition, we did try to bring into account all of the issues that we as trading members are currently facing, and the enhanced or increasing reliance on us to be compliant.
Great. Well, John, very practical, very insightful, and thank you for coming here.
Oh, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Robert, if there were one message you'd like to send to our members about the STCs, what would that message be?
It has to be, think about incorporation. Because without incorporating the STCs, you can't rely on their terms to protect you. So you have to devise an incorporation process, a strategy. And I would venture that you, first of all, have to consider telling your clients of the change. You have to train your staff in the processes. You have to tell your liability insurers. And I would suggest you need to also consider what procedural changes you need to implement. And the last point is, look at the BIFA STC section on our website, which gives details of all the documents and all the processes and all the changes.
So if I could sum it all up, no incorporation, no protection.
Exactly.
So what you've just had was an overview of the review, but you'll find a lot more information on our website. So just log into your account and you will find guidance, you will find information about how to implement and how to incorporate BIFA STCs, but also you'll find information about who to speak to if you need to, because BIFA STCs are one of the key pillars of your BIFA membership.